we are broadcasting. We are broadcasting to the.
We are at the Oxford Sports Pub and Secret Society here in Altima Springs. Joel Hawksley, David Washington. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up. And Joel.
I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe it. Today is, let's just say, may the 4th be with you during this darn broadcast.
Thank you, sir.
I had to say it, at least on one of them.
There you go. Thank you. Thank
so
you.
Now it's recorded. now you know we're recorded. So
yes.
So, but yeah, it's great. We get a lot accomplished. So
right.
But today something about civics lesson is.
Well, this one is saying the dangerous part out loud. And it stems from a statement on the Florida House of Representatives floor, the House floor, by State Representative Jeff Holcomb, I believe is his name.
Okay.
And he was trying to say...
He was taken out of context.
I don't know if he took himself.
Well, listen.
It was how it was said.
It's the way it was said.
It was delivered.
It's the way it was said.
Right.
He absolutely said they hate.
Well, I'll read it. I'll read it.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, the way it comes across.
The statement is ISIS, the Taliban, and Al Qaeda. Those are the folks who discriminate, said Representative Jeff Holcomb this past Monday. That would be May the 1st. Our terrorist enemies hate homosexuals more than we do.
Meaning our country. No, honestly.
I haven't found anything for that he stated to kind of clarify.
But he's definitely, he's not talking about we the party, he's talking about we the country, because he's talking about country. ISIS. He's talking about ISIS, and he's talking about these.
I'm kind of confused because it sounds like that. I mean, it can be taken different ways, right? It is true.
The way it was
Republicans hate homosexuals more than ISIS, or America hates homosexuals more than ISIS, and blah blah blah. I believe he got lost in this word salad, trying to sound as forceful and meaningful without actually understanding what was written in front of him.
He was just saying, ultimately, he was just saying, look, if you want to see real racism, you want to see real prejudice, you want to see where they execute people, then look outside the walls of the United States. Now,
oh wait, don't we execute people too?
Not for being gay.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what he's trying to say.
I mean, Matthew Shepard, he was tortured.
But he wasn't killed by the government. I mean, the government. He's talking about the government. That's the whole point. Is in his statement, he's talking about the government. And yes, every single liberal, every single wordsmith is going to play this, because you know what? You can't talk rhetorical. You can't talk sarcastic. You can't talk a joke anymore. Listen, he said we We being everybody. We being everybody. So I can only take it. Like, if he had said that in front of me, which he did because it was on the news, I knew exactly what it was. I knew what he was saying.
Right.
It didn't like burst into, I hate homosexuals, because I really don't. As a matter of fact, some of them are really good looking. So.
Right. But true. However, with the legislation that's gone through the session, people will make an argument that this legislation is very exclusionary. It is discriminatory. It's not moving the general conversation forward in regards to the rights of the other. And so, given that particular context, and then this word salad, and I get it, I believe he misspoke.
Oh yeah,
and,
he definitely.
I hope that he clarified
Like
along the way what he was trying to say, that we hate ISIS and terrorist groups, and we're going to go after them. But we, America, let's go with your example, we're not like them.
Yeah, I mean
that we can agree with,
because I just can't see that he has this hate in his heart. I mean, listen, there are people up in Tallahassee, we on both sides, but I just don't. This comment doesn't bode well for him, but it
Right.
doesn't diminish the fact that we as a nation do not execute. We do not hate and discriminate as other countries do.
I don't know.
No, listen. He said he's just trying to say, if you've been over
we
this,
we do discriminate. I mean,
listen. They all.
that's why the EEOC was established.
I'm not. Listen, I this is the whole point of having a show, is because this guy is saying something that if you need Joel to come in and defend you for a two-letter word,
Mm-hmm.
changes all this whole perspective.
Yes, it does.
It's like you could have said a four-letter word and gotten less press by saying fuck.
Exactly.
And he could have gotten a whole lot less press. But because he said we,
right,
meaning us in general,
right,
now they say he spoke for the Republican legislature, because we know they hate us. It's
right.
You gave the everybody likes these wars, so enemy, right? You gave your opposition
right
a tool, and it just took a two-letter word.
Right. And also, Joel, again, sometimes we get so caught up in our rhetoric, especially as legislators and politicians. We get so caught up and want to make as much impact with the little time that they have. Whoever wrote this for them, and we have to admit, for a lot of our legislators, a lot of their stuff is written for them.
Yeah.
And he probably didn't read it through. He probably didn't proof it, and he wanted to make an impact and say, hey, we want to destroy those who want to destroy us in general, us Americans, regardless of sexual preference or race or ethnicity or religion. Hey, we're tough, and he just got caught up in rhetoric. And again, I hope he explained himself. If he didn't, shame on him.
Well, shame on him, but he needs to clarify.
Yes.
I think it's clear for me what he was saying, but I don't know his heart. I don't know this. I know a lot of the legislators, but
yes,
I don't happen to know this one. But
right, and of course the opposition jumped on it, and when you look at the video, you see the opposition's reaction.
But you didn't see him flinch.
No, he didn't.
He just read. He read right through it.
Yeah,
because that's like me, David.
Okay.
Having a conversation with you and saying, well, I don't hate broccoli as much as you do.
I love
Right?
Brooklyn.
I'm not saying
yeah.
you hate, whatever you're comparing. You shouldn't even do that.
Mhm.
The whole point is he shouldn't have been doing that.
Yes.
Like somebody's worse than us. That's all he's. Somebody is worse than us. There's always going to be somebody worse than us.
right.
David is the best. He's a saint, so he would be better than me. So like he could have the upper hand here.
Right.
But my goodness, why take the risk of comparing anything? You can't compare anything in the United States of America.
Woo,
That's
man.
that's the worst
With-
thing in the truth.
with social media and cameras, as we were talking off camera earlier, with cameras and microphones everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere. There's stuff that I did as a kid that I would never get away with. I'm sure there's stuff as adults we would do that we would not get away with because there are cameras and microphones.
But we always
everywhere.
had, we always had nosy neighbors.
Oh yeah,
we don't
that's
have
true.
that anymore.
No,
No, we
because-
have
because
we
they're
have
not talking to
complainers.
one another.
We have complainers, right?
Right.
They'll send the cops over there,
Ah, yes.
but they won't have a one-on-one conversation.
No.
Hey, I like rap music, but could maybe around 10 o'clock
No. No,
you,
thank
you, you could you could turn it down, and then the neighbor goes, "Oh, I didn't know it was bothering you." And then he says, "You wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and your alarm, you don't shut it off,
Ooh,
and I can hear it through the wall." That's a conversation.
right.
So I don't think of that until the morning time when your alarm goes off.
Right.
Boy, you've just both realized that you got thin walls,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to respect each other.
And being mature enough and understanding enough to come together and having that conversation, like we were talking about offline, having a conversation first before reacting in a negative way, before pulling your gun or throwing the punch or insulting one another. And it's unfortunate that that maybe because again of social media we're seeing more of that, but taking the time to understand before we put our thoughts into words,
Oh yeah.
we think about what we're going to say before we do. For entertainment purposes, hey,
Hey,
I'm gonna just shoot off and say what the
Look, I
fuck I
like
want to
saying-
say, but no.
Listen, I like
But-
to I like to make mistakes. I mean, I watch these shows sometimes and I go, I didn't say that correctly. I really should have been a little clearer on that. It's like you see those darn mistakes.
You're talking about our past broadcasts.
Yes, it's always
sure,
it's
sure,
always
sure,
one
sure.
or two.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's fun because you point it out before I even get there. So, but no, this is taking making a mountain out of a molehill.
right.
This is not. I don't think there's vitriol in his heart, and I don't think that the legislature is doing anything that they don't think is right,
Mhm.
and I mean really right, because
A part of the legislature.
yeah, I mean, well,
That's passing
The-
the,
the-
stuff
the
that
only
the
people
other
that-
part. It's
the only
saying,
part
"Oh
is
my
the
God."
passing.
Right.
It's like I'm just over here, and you saw me grinning because I'm watching a special. Like it just came out that the libel bill may not pass.
Right.
Well, to me that's great because then it means some Republicans actually realize you can't just do this crap. There's a
Again,
constitution, right?
right. The First Amendment again.
So again, like I'm just smirking because if it doesn't get through the House, that's a win
Right.
on people understanding their constitution.
And let's talk about that a little bit. In our previous conversations, we've talked about the First Amendment and about particular situations where the First Amendment is being challenged. And of late, in this particular legislative session, we're seeing like this libel bill, we're seeing this affront on the First Amendment by the legislature. What is going on here?
Yeah,
One of the things that we treasure the most, the reason why it is the First Amendment, but it seems like there's an attack on it by
so-
people who say that they embrace it. Is it performative?
uh, I don't know if they really get the performance dollars in Tallahassee. They're playing to certain people for money.
Right.
I see that, but like, I think they try to get the legislation in so fast, and it's like you got this short period of time. You got to get all this done in a budget. But they don't think.
Mhm.
Again, it's putting a bill in that says, David and Joel, you need to sign a little like a
Disclaimer.
lobbyist. You have to sign
Right.
like a lobbyist, especially if you're promoting somebody.
Right.
Well, hell, if I talk bad about the governor, which at times I have, you know,
Sure.
it's because I think it's funny. Like I'm just not gonna read his book, right? So I think it's kind of humorous. I would say be able to say, I'm not gonna read that. I don't have time, you know. But I'm not reading like crap,
Right.
right? I'm not reading crap. This is a good book. Probably has a lot of information I'd like to know. But
Mhm.
DeSantis is a Republican,
Okay.
and everything he's going to cover in here is going to be kind
Towards
of
that.
what he did to keep us free.
Mhm.
Hey, as long as he keeps you know,
Oh.
free Florida, you
That's
know?
another thing. Keep us free from what his predecessor was a Republican, right? And I don't see any tyranny. I free from what? High property taxes or property insurance?
You know,
fees?
you know, you're just playing this one. You know, it's a free Florida, free Florida. You know, we didn't. He kept the. You know, he kept challenging. Again, challenging is the way you get votes in the Republican Party.
Right. It's just that as politicals, I mean, we see the farce that it is. I mean,
My
free,
senator-
the slogan, you know.
My senator, I felt, went down the wrong path
Mm.
with his bill, and it drove me crazy. And I don't
Right.
know where it is. I haven't looked at it for a while, but
Right.
it's like, yes, okay. Well, if you want that, go to the right people. If you want to know who's paying for this podcast or this article to be written,
Sponsors, listen up.
you have to go a different route.
Right.
He's like, what's a disadvantage when, you know, this character comes out against me, basically.
Mhm.
And if he's writing negative about me,
Mhm.
who's paying him? Who's paying him to never say a nice thing about me?
Right.
That's what he wants. So go to the finance laws. Go to put it where it belongs,
Mhm.
and and make it simple, right?
This is similar to the libel law
Yeah, it's very
that
simple.
didn't get through the House.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
And when you sit back and you look at it, yeah, you could have taken it a different route. You should have gone through, you know, campaign finance.
Mhm.
That's exactly where that bill should have been. But he didn't. He put it as a bill, period, misunderstood, don't get it, because nobody's been in a campaign.
Right.
The common person in Florida has not been in a campaign.
That's true.
They don't know that that there are people out there that have very large audiences that you can pay them to get their support.
Exactly. That's
So
true.
you can't buy an endorsement. You can't buy an endorsement from a candidate. You can't buy an endorsement by the campaign finance laws.
Correct.
But now you're going to tell me I have to, because I broadcast and I talk about politics and politicians, I'm now restricted from that. If I have to register because I might be paid by, listen, you're going to pay me if you like my station to have an ad there, right?
Mhm.
What's the difference between having the ad and having this person write?
Right. Because the ad supports the content.
I can tell you exactly when they're writing about the person because they use a lot of terms to describe. They get right into the weeds. That nice
Mhm.
gentleman who walked the lady across the street is running against that bully who just it's not like reading an article. You've seen them.
Yes, I have.
They come on the left and the right.
And that's why we're here and do what we do is so that you don't have to, as a viewer or listener, have to weed through all the garbage and nuance and figure out, okay, what is going on. We're part of your research. And this is it. We're part of your research, and this is a common sense approach to a lot of stuff that you probably don't have time to review these bills or the lawsuits like we do,
Well,
and in the news articles and the research that we do.
but we talk
And
local.
it's-
That's the
Mhm.
one thing I think is really I'm proud of most is we will talk about the federal government.
Right.
We will talk, but we talk about the state. We talk about our counties. We talk about the good, the bad, and ugly. I mean, just we don't hesitate. If it's something that doesn't make sense, it's on the show
Right.
because you can't. It's one of those moments that you say, "I can't make this shit up."
That's true.
You can't make this shit up. That the Republican Party boldly stands there and does something because Miami and St. Pete have a law, so they want to be bigger than the law. So we don't want you to put. This is I'm talking about the. For those that haven't watched our show, I'm talking about they have a minimum wage.
St. Pete and Miami-Dade.
Yeah,
Right.
They're the only counties that do, and now it's going to be against the rules to not do what the state does.
Preemption.
So, in other words, why do I vote for a city or a county government?
When the state
the state,
supersedes.
the state's going to do all the work, right?
Right.
Why should I? You know what? Let's go up to Tallahassee and decide which company is going to do our garbage. Let's decide which one of these places is going to do our water. Maybe we can get somebody from Winter Springs to do our water.
You know, you make a good point there. Why have local government if the state is going to preempt?
But if you're a
Local
Republican and you're doing this, you're scared of counties following suit.
Where's the freedom in that?
And you're talking the whole opposite about what we stand for.
Where's the freedom in that?
They have a lot of liberals there. They vote for liberals.
Sure.
They're going to do things that impact their economy.
That's correct.
Who gives a shit up in Tallahassee? The people in that community will move out of that community if it affects them.
Exactly.
It's like, let them screw themselves. Like,
They have the freedom to do that.
yeah, but this is all coming because they want to make sure that things like the discussion about rent stabilization,
Mhm.
that's scaring the hell out of people. Like it would scare me if I was a homeowner that was renting a home.
Right.
It would scare me. I'd be on the
Right.
other side.
There have been negative repercussions to rent stabilization efforts across the country. That is documented proof. There's got to be a better way, and there is better alternatives. There are alternatives that have not been significantly
Investigated.
looked into.
Yeah,
Right,
but-
investigated.
Yeah, I totally agree. But now we're going to come in as the big bully. It makes me feel,
Uh-oh.
and I don't usually feel.
Right.
I'm usually, yes, I agree with this. Yes,
Boom,
I
boom,
do.
boom.
Boom, boom.
Right.
But now you're bringing feelings out in me. It's like
Uh-oh.
you're seeing it's everything's a fight now.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't need to be a fight. Let them fuck themselves.
The freedom to fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Self-determination.
It's like, let's laugh at them when they go broke,
Right.
when everybody moves out. Everybody saw Detroit. Detroit destroyed
Yes.
itself. Like we didn't have, so we came in and had to do some saving. But guess what? Everybody in the Republican Party, boom, 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 boom. Look, one of
Right.
those liberal, places has fallen.
Or in Kansas, when Kansas decided to not invest in education and their educational system failed.
It doesn't
Hey,
matter.
Kansas had the freedom to do that.
Both
They
sides.
did what they did, and those are the consequences.
If you're not putting money in your education, like Mississippi, Alabama, I mean, of course you're going to talk like a funny person. No, I'm saying if you invest in the right things, it's up to you.
and you have the research to back up your claims that this is going to move society forward, move your community forward, go for it. But don't pull the plug. Don't allow that locality the freedom to make that decision on their own,
And-
sink or swim.
And businesses are going to make decisions. Businesses are going to make decisions that
Yeah.
people aren't going to
Yep.
like. So if Coca-Cola comes out into, supporting the LGBTQ community at a high level, and then Pepsi does, what are you going to do? You're going to boycott all soda? No, you guys are not going to. But
No.
you guys are going to get your soda.
Right. Right.
So it's going to be a pound. Oh, that hurt me
Mhm.
because it goes against my religion. Guess what? The business doesn't have a religion,
That's right.
and they're trying to be equitable.
Trying to earn a profit.
Yeah, and if people are, they measure the whole country.
Mhm.
They measure what's going on. It's not like these are trends. And if I see a trend where, 60% of straight people easily say that they have no problem with homosexuality, they have no problem with the rainbow being, they have no problem with it. Then I'm going to slap a rainbow on there,
Exactly.
right? And if it's 70%, I'm going to stick 2 on there.
Exactly.
But they're doing the same thing we do with politicians, but
Right.
they know it's just offensive. They say it's offensive, but it's not offensive. It's only offensive because you wouldn't do it.
Right. Okay.
But you allow a 3-time divorce, a 3-time married person in office, and and you say nothing about his morals. Nothing. I mean, I'm not even being critical. I'm just saying, I am a big Ronald Reagan fan.
Yes, sir.
He's divorced.
Twice. No,
Once.
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 Jane.
Yeah.
And then he married Nancy.
Yeah. But yes, he's the first divorced president of the United States. But we faced it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We understood what happened in their relationship, how it broke down, because it was they told us, right? But I
Right.
didn't use my religion to defend Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was Ronald Reagan. He got divorced when he was a Democrat. Oh, sorry. You can't make this shit up,
Oh,
guys.
you can't. You can't.
But well, you know what? He was divorced when he was a Democrat too, because he's been a Democrat until like a couple of years before he became a
When it
Republican.
became fortunate for him to run for president as a Republican. Yeah.
All these people are hating me right now, but I'm just like, if you
No.
can't make fun of somebody, then it's over.
As long as you're able to take it too.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if he were to come in here, he'd rip me a new asshole, and I'd be, yeah. If he came in, listen, he walked in here, you'd have to be in awe.
Mhm.
I mean, this is going to be natural.
Well, are we talking about Ronald Reagan? That
No,
would
I'm talking-
definitely would be.
no, I'm talking
like,
about-
like,
I'd be very
zombie.
much. But if the president,
Zombie Reagan. But if the former president, walked in,
walked in,
oh yeah,
hell yeah,
I would be like,
I would shake his hand.
wow.
I'd like to hear him speak.
Right.
I'd like to hear him try to, ad lib, because he does a good job on that one. But it's like
I would take a picture of him and show
would
my
take it.
friends and have their minds just blown.
my favorite picture. My favorite picture to show people, pisses them off, is my picture with
Me?
Ted Kennedy, in
Right.
his office, and my 2 kids. That's a
Right.
beautiful picture.
Yeah.
It was, he was the nicest individual. Chappaquidda, all that stuff is in my head, but you meet this person, you're like, listen, we beat him up for his politics.
Yes.
We don't beat him up because of his humanity.
Exactly.
So
Right.
I thought he was that's how we should be backing this up. It should be, I hate your politics.
Right.
I don't hate you.
Right.
Because that's where this war, I hate it when we're at war, the enemy, like that
Yeah.
that
And
literally
that's-
says that if we're in war, so we're having a civil war right now
Mhm.
that's not got guns. So because we're not looking at Russia and the Cold War, we're now beating ourselves up.
The enemy is from within, and unfortunately, we've seen each other and talking about one another as if we are enemies, and not taking that approach in the past that Biden sometimes still think that
Well, Biden doesn't
still that is still civil, that you know people of opposite parties are still able to have a cocktail, after work, and
We talked about that cut.
have a compromise.
We talked about the speaker.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
We talked about when the speaker.
Those days, unfortunately, at that level, and it seems to drip down into, the local levels, are long gone, and it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate.
We're not going to agree on everything, but
I don't expect it. Yeah.
If we at least have, oh my God, I'm saying the dreaded word, compromise. If we acknowledge the fact that, hey, I don't hate you because you're a Christian. I don't hate you because you have these beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't hurt me because of your beliefs, I'm okay.
Right. And if we put thought into our words, if we are conscious about where we're at and what we're doing and how there are repercussions to our words and our actions, if we take the time to fully think those things out, then perhaps we'll have less derision, less confrontation, and an easier approach towards compromise.
Yeah. I mean, David, let's just go to Chicago for a minute. As I know you're that's your hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just because I would be rooting for the Cubbies in the World Series if they were playing each other. No, I just had to say that. No, I would probably be around the White Sox.
There's no compromise there.
I would probably be around the White Sox, but I had to say this. Yeah, there's no compromise there. This is that fight.
There's
right?
one thing, yeah.
So it's like having,
White Sox, Cubs.
I don't think anybody should have two teams in the same city.
Well, Chicago only has one. The Chicago White Sox. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Only one major league baseball team in Chicago. It's the Chicago White Sox.
Well, I think Wrigley would have a different idea on that. Yeah, yeah, but it's a good company. But yeah, we're gonna keep on talking because our producer got a phone call. But we could talk about so many things about compromise. Sure. I mean, there are things that. I don't think it's this thing about promotion.
Okay, yeah.
It's a thing about promotion. Well, when you do X, you're promoting it. Like right. you're saying it's okay.
Right.
Well, I can't say it's not okay because guess what? Every kid of today, we've had these conversations about the kids today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm non-binary. I'm a cupcake. It's way over my head.
Yeah.
It very much is way over my head. And some of our audience totally looking at us like, why? Why is that over your head?
Right.
Because it wasn't natural. It wasn't part of our community.
Exactly.
But it's becoming more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say something that I say a lot of times. And I do it for play mostly. But I'm proud to be a Republican because I believe in reproduction.
Okay.
Everything that the Democrats support, don't make babies. So that's just a joke, guys. But it's true. In a way, it's true. You got to smile at that one.
It is promotion. What we're seeing in our legislatures, in Congress, to be derisive, to be confrontational, is self-promotion. There's money in it. And when we have Congress people or legislators in general, political electeds, being confrontational and this anger, it brings in dollars, unfortunately. And maybe that's the issue. There's too much money involved in politics, and it helps feed this division. That's unfortunate. However, again, we've got to be careful with the things that we say, how they're said, in this world where there's microphones and cameras all over the place. I'm sure, Representative Jeff Holcomb is a good guy, but, Representative, clean your shit up,
I I totally agree. So I mean, there's like when I was being a Republican and what's going on in the Republican Party
Mhm.
and seeing some of the radical things. One of the things I've been working on, and I only work on it very short. Now I'm just editing, but is a lot of children's books. I went easy stories. I understand them, and I'll write just a little synopsis about it, and then I'll write a poem, and then I'll tell you the structure of the poem. I think I might move the structure first, then the poem, and then the story, because you have to understand a little bit about the story.
Right.
And what's happening now is as I'm writing these things and explaining what the book is about, I'm looking at it like, oh shoot, this wouldn't be in the library anymore.
Yeah.
I went one of my favorite, the Mulberry Street. I was about to, I was going to use that book, and I went, that would be wrong to use that book only because you can't buy that book anymore. It's one of the 5 books that's been taken off the market.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, if political correctness takes 5 books out of the Dr. Seuss, it's weird, but that's what I'm getting at. Like,
Not that term.
Oh,
Not that term.
I'm just-
Yuck.
I'm
Yuck.
just like, yeah. But there's all these things, and a lot of these are great novels, and they're about slavery, or they're about freedom. They're about the past, and now you want to say, well, the way they approach that. Listen, you live it differently than I do. We have 2 totally different, outlooks on life.
And government should stay out of determining what our perception of history or our perception of a piece of artwork or our perception of what's in a book is to us. Allow us the freedom to come to our determination of what we're consuming.
I have 2. I have 2 daddies. If somebody writes the book is out there, or To Mommy, I don't remember where it is, but that book doesn't offend me.
Mhm.
What was weird is just, you couldn't have 2 mommies or 2 daddies in Florida because it was against the law for them to adopt. So just be real. That's all I'm asking. And this is, you can't make it shit up. And I'm taking the side of, hey, technically, we was not we. It is context.
And I take the side that he probably had good intentions, but the delivery was fucked. Hey, this is You Can't Make This Shit Up. Joel Hawksley, David Washington, join our community. Come down to the Oxford, be a part of this special opportunity.
And one last thing, it's j-washington.com. If you go there, all our social is there. Everything is there. This broadcast will be there. Please see what we do. Find out. You can hate us or like us, but you're going to get the best from us. So
Every
thank you
time.
very much.